think there's a lot of confusion out there about what rod you use when you're fishing a jig, what rod you use when you're flipping and pitching a tube, etc. And for me, it's really not a lure decision, it's more of a cover decision. And when I set out to design a set of rods for American Rodsmith, I started to look at the different scenarios I get into when I'm flipping and pitching. And when it come down to those rods, I didn't think I had to do every technique with this one rod. So I developed a 7'4", what we call flipping and pitching rod with American Rodsmiths for a little lighter line. So if you want to get down to that 15 to 20 pound range in your line and pitch boat docks, isolated stumps, clear water scenarios, that allow, or even little baits, that rod will allow you to have a little easier time doing it. Now, when you get to the real heavy cover, punching mats, trying to get those big baits and those big fish out of those really nasty places, I went to a 7'7", super stiff flipping rod just for those particular techniques. But those are the extremes. Most of our fishing, day in and day out, you need one rod that you can flip with and that you can pitch with, and that's where we came up with what we call the perfect flipping stick. It allows you to flip, it allows you to pitch, it allows you to cover most of the scenarios, and if you're budget minded and you only want to buy one rod, that's the rod you need to buy. It's 7'6" long. We've got a new wind grip on it, which when it's wet, you get a day like this where it's raining, you got a little bit of a grip problem when you're using cork. You do not have that problem with the wind grip that's on the American Rodsmith. So those three rods, it's like a set of golf clubs. Any flipping or pitching scenario I get into, that's going to cover all my bases. I've always got all three in the rod locker because one end of the lake may be clear, the other end may be muddy water. Part of the day I may be flipping mats, part of the day I may be pitching stumps, you just don't know. So I've got them all there. And those three rods cover all those bases. Now when it comes to a reel, it's very, very simple. I'm using one reel. It's the Ardent F700. I played a part in helping design this reel. It's the only reel I use in flipping and pitching, and the reason why, there's several reasons why. The number one reason why is it helps me land more fish, and that means a lot. And the reasoning behind that is it's got no star drag. It's got a built-in Permalock drag that's set at a minimum of 22.5 pounds. That translates into a better hook set, better hook penetration, and when you're flipping, you're using heavier hooks that are harder to penetrate, especially into big fish. So you need a better hook set. That Permalock drag gives you that better hook set because it doesn't slip. It helps you horse them big fish out of cover. Another feature it's got no worm gear. It's got a ceramic eyelet out there. It's got a narrow spool. Your line shoots straight out, and because you do not have those moving parts, you can pitch easier, you can pitch further, you can pitch lighter baits. If you use braided line, which is equally as friendly, or as fluorocarbon, monofilament, whatever you want to use on this reel, you do not have to put backing if you use braid. Yeah, you use a conventional bait casting reel, you got to spool a little mono, spool a little fluorocarbon on, tie your braid to that or it's going to slip on the spool. We got a peg on the spool of this that you tie directly to, so you can tie your braid to that. You got zero slippage there. This reel is 6.3 to 1 gear retrieve ratio. Super strong workhorse reel designed to get giant fish out of heavy cover. No reason for me to fish any other type of reel when it comes to flipping and pitching. The Ardent F700 is the reel you need.